Now this kitty is called Ginger. Now he's more afraid of more of a barn cat. Oh, I'm sorry, Ginger. He's an outdoor cat, and anyway, he was raised here as a kitten, and he just doesn't feel very well. He's got a sore back spot, but it's clean. I think it just some hairs off of it, but anyway, I'll leave him alone. But that's Ginger. Thought you'd show you one of the kittens from what I showed you about a year ago this time. Well, I do have a plan for us today. We have another rainy day. It's like I said, it's been we were dry yesterday, but how much rain did we get today? Yeah, looks like I had to cover it. 6/10 inch of rain. We'll dump it. So 6/10. We started out with 1.4 inches, and then we got an inch and a half. We got an inch and a half, and now we got ourselves 6/10. So that's a lot of rain in 7 days. I tell you, that's a lot of moisture. Now, fortunately for us, we have not had don't get me wrong, there's some water running around here. The ground's saturated, but you know what we haven't had this year is let me just do this, knock on wood, the 3-inch rain in 20 minutes. And that always happens to me. So let me tell you what I want to do today. It's so wet out there in the fields, very wet. It's this afternoon I'm going to have to pick strawberries, but I can't pick them out there right now. It is just, I would just sink. I gotta let some stuff run off. This afternoon I'll get out and pick berries. What I'm seeing in the strawberries is kind of like my gut. They're overexpanding, and there's a little bit more waste out there right now. I can't help it. It's just the way it is. Get this much rain, what are you gonna do? So we're gonna have a little more waste. I think I do see some young berries, still some pollination going on out there in the field. We are May 29th, and the fact is it's May 29th, and so we're getting near the end of the strawberry season. That's where we're at. I'm gonna go ahead and give these buildings a little bit of air circulation. Now I need to get in here and fertilize, and I want to prevent having blossom end rot. So I need to get my hose into there. It's not a great way of doing it, but this is the easiest way for me. This side I can open up just a little bit, keep it all in here, and keep it a little warmer. There we go, and just keep that down. Our rains are basically close to being done. Now I got to do the same thing on the back side of the high tunnel. Got quite a bit of look at that nice red and green. I think I'll be taking some of that in with me to the farmer's market in Lenexa. I'll get that done. But I'm going to open up the back of my back curtain so I can get in here and fertilize these. I use that garden hose right there to go from my dosatron, and then I'll inject the fertilizer right here. So let me go ahead and raise up this back curtain and we'll take a look at it. I can feel some heat coming out of there. There we go. Yeah, I can definitely feel some heat coming out of here. Dilly and I just got those 2 rows strung up there, looking a lot more perkier today, so that's wonderful. Let me drop the sides down a little bit, and then we're going to go ahead and get our fertilizer ready. So I have my formula, and that is very simple. The number of plants times 0.03 equals the amount of fertilizer I put on my, or I inject into the dosatron, inject into the water system. So the number of plants times 0.03 equals the amount of fertilizer I put in. So we're talking most time around, for a high tunnel, we're talking around 4/10, 4 ounces, 3 ounces of fertilizer. Calcium nitrate. I don't want a lot of calcium in my tomatoes. However, calcium nitrate is a great source to prevent our, there we go. There's old Mooch. Look at old Mooch there. Good old faithful Mooch. Come on, Mooch, let's go inside the high tunnel here. See if you can find any mises. Come on. There you go. There you go. So we'll go ahead in here and set this down, and we'll go ahead and bump our, we gotta do this every day, you know, bump the plants, make sure that we can do what we can do to help pollinate. Look how far down. I'm going to hit the left side here. Now that's the wind. But look, as I shake, how far that goes down. So I do this multiple times, and we're going to get ourselves a lot of opportunity for pollination. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 16, 17, 18, 19 plants pounding this one stake can affect 19 plants. That's easy. That's pretty easy pollination there. So in theory, I don't even need to, if I just stood here in the middle, if I just stand here in the middle, I can do both sides. Yeah, look at that. So I don't even need to do the whole thing if you want to get down to it. But no, I don't mind. I think it's a good exercise. Just like right here, you see this? Let's get him behind the string. Yep. Always, it's good to tuck those in, keep them honest. Now yesterday, Dilly and I came through here and did that. There's old Mooch. He is a funny cat. You finding anything back there? Are you sneaking? It's getting pretty thick. There you go. Now this here goes into my line. So I have to take this off, and we'll fertilize them. There we go. Now the way I have my high tunnel, and everybody's a little different. You might have enough pressure to do the whole high tunnel at one time. For me, I have these valves, and what I do is I can water 4 rows at a time. So I have 8 rows in here. So I'll do 4 rows. I'll do 4 rows in here, and then I switch the whole system over. So I'll shut these valves off, and I'll open these valves up. So what I'll do is I mix up enough for what I am fertilizing. And once that goes through, then I go to the next, then I switch buckets. I actually just make separate buckets. Makes things a lot easier. Now, calcium nitrate has been a real pain in the butt for me. I have a lot of vegetative growth in here. So what I actually do is I use the tomato formula from, where is it? So Morgan County has a master blend. I get it from Morgan County, but I use master blend tomato formula. And then I also add some calcium nitrate is what I do as well. That crazy cat, look at him running on the, get that moth, I hope you do. Yeah, stop them tomato worms in here. But anyway, that's what I use. I use the master blend. So I actually run that through the system, and then I run the calcium nitrate through the system. And then I switch the system over and I do the calcium nitrate and the master blend all at the same time. So I do switch things up. What are you doing, crazy cat? What's the matter with you? All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and keep on going through here, but I'm glad to see my tomatoes that me and Delia had to restring up. Look at how much more they're wanting to go vertical. That's what, it just takes some time when you have a screw up as bad as what I did. Look at the friggin' size of that tomato there. This is red deuce, but that's my hand right there. Look at the size of that thing. This exercise on fertilizing this high tunnel in here, and I'm going to pull out my phone. I have 48 plants per row times 4. So I got 192 plants in 4 rows. That's what I'm fertilizing at one time. Let's take that times 0.03. That gives me 5.76 ounces. So we'll call 5.5 ounces that we're going to fertilize of that. Now, where the calcium nitrate, I generally cut that down in half. I don't need too much, but I'll go, so 5.5, so we'll call it, 275 on calcium nitrate. I just need a little bit in there to help me with the blossom end rot. Strengthen up the cellular structures and stuff like that. But I want to prevent that blossom end rot. Believe me, folks, you want to go ahead and make sure you take care of blossom end rot as the plants are growing. I think for me, it works a lot better rather than me throwing out a whole bunch of missed opportunity, because that's what you get when you don't have your nutrients right for your blossom end rot. So calcium nitrate, I go and start putting it in right away from the time that we start seeing young blossoms in here. They go ahead and get that in. If you push the nitrates too much, you're going to end up with too much green growth. I don't want that. What I want is blooms. I want tomatoes. That's really what I want, is tomatoes. And then I want to protect those tomatoes. I want to make sure that they're stronger. Also, the skins of the tomatoes become a little bit thicker, a little more firmer. Helps me out with shelf life. That's the fact of what you do with some calcium nitrate. So let's go ahead and get it all mixed up. So I'm up here in the shop, and it's time for me to go ahead and get my fertilizer together. I'm going to use a dosatron. It doesn't matter how you get the water really into it. Have a rain barrel or something like that, and you want to mix this into your barrel and drain it into it, that's fine. It doesn't make any difference. It doesn't change anything. We just got to make sure when we go to blend this stuff, Master Blend tomato formula is what I'm using. I also use it for my peppers and cucumbers as well. I don't really change anything there. But it does call for you to go with 8 ounces per 100 gallons of water. That's one way of doing it. It also tells you to add 6 ounces of calcium nitrate. And the last thing it also has in there, and I got to remember what it says, magnesium sulfate. It asks you to put 4 ounces of magnesium sulfate in with it as well. I don't have any magnesium sulfate. I don't feel like I need it on my particular soil from what I gathered from my soil test. So anyway, basically that's what we're going to do. I have a scale here, and what I do is very simple, just what everybody does. This is just this scale measures in ounces. So we'll go ahead, and I need 5.5 ounces for the number of plants I'm doing based upon our calculation. And so let's just go ahead and add that up. There's 3, 4, 5.6. That's close enough. Very good. Sometimes I win, sometimes I lose. So I'm going to dump this. I'm going to dump this right here into this bucket. And it needs to be stirred up. So let me do that. Let me find a stir stick and I'll mix it up. So I will now stir it up, get it mixed in. Make sure your bucket's nice and clean. So there's that one. Let's set this to the side and repeat, because I have 2 sides of my high tunnel. I do 2 different batches. I don't know if you guys are anywhere close to me on this level, but I'm kind of anal on it. I could just go in half, right? We could just go in half and say, oh, I got it pretty close, but I don't do that. I got a calculation for a reason, so let's go ahead. And I have to get a little bit more. I'm at 2.5 ounces. And grab some more out of the bag. So we're looking for that 5.5 ounces. There we go. Hit it on the nail on that one. So let's do that. We'll put this and mix it up into this bucket. And we'll stir it in. So you're probably wondering why I'm not mixing the calcium nitrate in with this. Well, it has a tendency to, when you put the 2 of them together straight on, it has a tendency to want to gel up. What you can do is you can mix the calcium nitrate just like I'm doing right here and then combine the 2 of them. However, in my case, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab another 2 buckets. I'm good with it. And I'm going to mix the calcium nitrate. I'm going to put 3 ounces, measure up 3 ounces for that part of the job. And we'll go with separate buckets. So basically, when I'm watering a section, I'm just going to switch buckets. I'll go from the master blend to the calcium nitrate and then let that water in. And then I swap the water lines and I go back to the other one. So that's kind of how I do it. It's not perfect, folks. But I guarantee I don't have the water lines. I don't have my fertilizer gelling up on me. I think it just saves me time when you don't have a screw up. But if you do want to mix them, you can go ahead and mix 2 separate batches like this and then combine the 2 of them together once they've been fully mixed in. So that's a way that you can do it. And it's worked for me, but I don't want to take that time. It's just too much. It just takes me too much time to have to worry about plugging up water lines due to gelled up calcium nitrate. So let's just go ahead and make it simple on ourselves. 3 ounces per bucket, and we'll go fertilize. Okay, let's go ahead. This is a little bit thicker. Let's measure that up. It's 2.4, 3.2, so we're good there. Let me mix that in, the calcium nitrate in there. This is a little older, so it needs a little bit more help breaking up that nitrogen. We'll go ahead and get that mixed in. There we go. Calcium nitrate's mixed in on 1 bucket. Now we'll switch over and repeat the process on the next one. And again, make sure your scale is tared out, and we'll go from there. All right, so I have everything set up here. I just want to show you here. This is the style of dosatron. We're doing the D128R-7 gallon per minute. And anyway, I have my mix here. Let's go ahead and stir this up one more time. And now it's time for us to drop this in. I like to tilt this on the side. I'm going with a low volume. So I just kind of tilt it down there, and I have everything hooked up. I am going through a screen filter. You want to keep your drip lines, whenever you're running drip lines, you want to make sure you have it set up right. So let's go ahead It's currently running. I have it turned on. I have it going into my high tunnel. You know, one of these years, Delia and I, we're going to get our, we'll have one in each house. That's a, you know, that's something you grow into. You don't have to have it. But for us now, you can see how the liquid is slowly being sucked into the dosatron right now, and it's currently filling up the line with the master blend. So it takes, you do what you got to do. There we go. Just got to make sure it's right. Got to make sure it's right. There we go. I think we're in good shape. All right. I think I have everything in good shape here. Let me go ahead and get more of that hose in there. It seems to do better when you don't have as much. There we go. Slag. Yeah, I don't like any low spots. Just, here we go. Let me turn it that way. There we go. That's better. I see it going into the line now, so we're in good shape. Got a little dribble over there, but I'll get that fixed. I just don't want any water to go drip into my bucket, and we're good there. So I have the master blend going in. Everything is going as it should. Right here, I have my calcium nitrate. It's ready to go and waiting for the other bucket. I run about a half a gallon of water when I'm doing this. So right now, water is currently going into my drip lines. In the greenhouse, I always go with 2 drip lines for 1 row. You know, that's how I do it. If I had 2 rows in here, I don't know, you know, everybody's greenhouses are a little different, but I probably run 3 drip lines. You can't take enough chances. If one of them little things gets plugged up, one of them drips, minute drips, well, now you're not getting any moisture to your plant, let alone fertilizer. You're not getting any moisture. So anyway, right now, that's kind of how I do it. I have the drip here. I have it going. Let's go while that's going on. I have to go in here to into the small high tunnel because that's going to get fertilizer next. This area, even though it's got a lot of rain out here, I'm going to go ahead and push a little bit of 20-20-20 through these. I have some cucumbers that are really kind of suffering. I think they'd benefit. Everything else is enjoying it very much, but I think I'll go ahead and push a little 20-20-20 through this area at a rate of 5 pounds per acre, which means I'm looking at 1/10 of an acre here, or 0.75 acre. That's how I would put it. And that's how I'm going to treat that. So let me go in here, count up the number of plants I'm going to fertilize in this building. This way I'm accurate. Delia has added cucumbers in here, so I kind of forgot my numbers since I fertilized a week ago. So let me get a good count on the peppers and tomatoes. This is one of them houses that has a little everything. You got to kind of treat it as one thing, and I treat them as tomatoes, but it does benefit the bell peppers just as much. I haven't seen any problems. Calcium nitrate is beneficial to your peppers to prevent blossom end rot there as well. Same as cucumbers. Give yourself a nice healthy skin on these. Let's look at this. Look at them tomatoes. They are ripening up. Delia might get a pint for the weekend, so we'll get a good count and we'll come back. So I have to get these ready because this is what gets fertilized next. Okay, the master blend is through my first bucket. Now it's time for me to go ahead and switch over. I make sure that this is stirred one more time. Let's do that, and let's put this on over here. So we have that done. Wonderful. We're back to fertilizing again. I run about a half a gallon of water in my bucket when I go to do this. Just for the record, it's what I put in. When I try to get as much hose, I probably ought to shorten this hose, but you never know in the future where it's really going to be. But yeah, go ahead, and I like having all my hose inside the bucket. I think it just does better, everything being lower than my dosatron. Now I'm running 1 ounce in every 128 ounces. In other words, 128 ounces is a gallon of water. So 1 ounce of this for 128. Now you can change that. You can go in 1 ounce per 100 ounces. 1 and 128. You can change these different things, so you can do that. Everything is adjustable on this particular one. I'm going with the 1 ounce in 128 ounces. That's how I choose to do my fertilizing. Now I can go in here now while this is running. Go ahead and fill this up for the other high tunnel. I found out that the other high tunnel has 255 plants, which if you do my calculations of number of plants times 0.03 equals 7.65 in this case. Number of plants times 0.03 equals your amount of ounces. So anyway, in there I owe 7.65 total ounces, whereas in this house as a whole we're going to be running close to 11 ounces of the master blend, and I'm running about 6 ounces of the calcium nitrate for both sides. And I will do, in the other house, I have 7.65 ounces to run for the amount of plants we're running, and the master blend, and I'll turn right around and I'll probably run about 4 ounces of the calcium nitrate to those plants as well. So anyway, let me go get another batches mixed up here so we can go ahead and fertilize the other house. I brought out my other buckets. I kind of like, I bring a chair out here. My chair's over kind of waterlogged, but I have a chair out here to make sure that I get every little bit that I paid for. And I just kind of sit here at the very end and kind of make sure I get it empty to monitor, because I want to move on with my day with other projects rather than waiting for the dosatron to be done. So no reason just running water and you don't have it. So if this thing pops out or not siphoning correctly, I want to be here to find out. So let me keep going. Something you definitely want to do in your high tunnel, you can see how these drip lines are expanded and they are dripping. Now we have these set up going underneath of the plastic, which we like a lot better than we did the other direction where we had them sitting on top. The water goes directly right to the roots. That's a lot better system. We had them on top. I guess the advantage of having them on top is you can see if you have a leak or not. The downside is the fertilizer and water had a tendency to want to run, because as good as this woven fabric is, it doesn't necessarily drop the water straight through the woven fabric. It is a weed barrier, so it's a little slower. So anyway, we have the water lines running underneath. We burned some holes into the fabric and we run them underneath. So but it does pay to verify you have all your water lines open, make sure that there is no leak. So walk on down. A lot of times you can actually hear well, not a lot of times, you can, if you're quiet, you can walk down here and you can hear the actual water running. So anyway, that's a little tip there I can offer for you when you're watering and fertilizing.